Funding for Art Loft was made possible by Friends of Art and
in the Florida Keys and Key West, every night is a spectacular show. And every day is another masterpiece.
Hi, I'm P. Scott Cunningham, and from the studios at South Florida PBS, this is Art Loft. Welcome back. I'm P. Scott Cunningham. Stories in theater, the visual arts, and more captivate us this week on Art Loft. First, we go local with projects from the annual O Miami Poetry Festival. Whether it's through a daily newspaper, a barber's chair, or a fortune cookie, O Miami publishes poetry in unexpected ways throughout the city. As the founder and director of O Miami, it's my pleasure to bring you these projects.
You ready to do that? We gonna want everything?
Yeah, look, my brother. I don't want to touch it.
You leave that.
Yeah, just I don't know.
Take it out.
Yeah.
So just this.
Yes, this?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can read this haircut for a poem,
Yeah.
and then this one again.
Okay, no problem.
There you go.
Not all the way down. Ready?
I am not a metaphor or a symbol.
This you hear is not the wind in the trees,
Nor a cat being maimed in the street.
nor a cat being maimed in the street.
I am being maimed in the street.
I am being maimed in the street.
It is I
It is I
who weep
Who weep, laugh, feel pain.
or joy.
or joy.
Speak this because I exist.
This is my voice.
These are my words.
My mouth speaks them.
My hand writes.
I am a poet.
I am a poet.
I am a poet.
It is my fist you hear beating.
Beating
Beating
against your ear.
against your ear.
Beating against your ear.
Beating against your ear.
Against your ear.
That was great.
That's so good. Thank you so much.
My name is Stephen Powers. I just want to say that Oscar Wilde is right. We're all in the ghetto. Some of us are looking at the stars. I'm here to paint a love letter, but it's more like a mash note to my end. It's a short love letter. It's poetry that's made from graffiti, it's made from advertising, it's made from poetry. Complex sentiments about a life lived, and boil it down into as economical of a visual language and a written language as possible. When I'm outside, I don't have the luxury of people relaxing and reading, so I have to like hit them hard, make them read fast, and make them take it all in as fast as possible, and they can figure out what it means to them later. A guy rode by, and you know, he's just pushing his bike from Collins Ave to the beach, and he's just looking up at what we're painting, and he's just yelling phrases that he's seeing on the wall, you know, and he's just like taking them in. He's like, oh, that could be me, you know, and that's enough. Like, that's like, the transaction was complete at that point, you know, like we completed it, you know, we felt like we passed it off and we got a receipt back. That you could just, you know, paint and say something about your life, and it'll resonate with other people because they're living life too, and it's about the commonalities. So that's all. I strive to be common.
Well, yeah, when I see a poem that like is given the appropriate context and is typeset appropriately, I'd say I get like, it's kind of a giddy feeling. Like it's a satisfaction. It's very satisfying to see. We're going to be installing at quite a range of places, which is essentially the idea of Oh Miami, to my understanding. We're going to be in, let's see, restaurants, museums, a golf course, club, bookstores, hotel, yeah. The overarching themes are kind of, yeah, framing female and gay poets in hallowed light through the traditional illumination methods, but putting it in an unconventional place like a urinal where anyone who's participating in urinating on them is kind of voluntarily putting themselves in a position where they're defaming something sacred. And I like that tension. I want someone to at first get that pleasure of kind of the animalistic nature of claiming something through peeing on it, but then also to have to like wrestle with the idea that they are the one that's defaming something beautiful. And so yeah, another part of the tension is that the viewer has to essentially expose themselves in the most vulnerable way I can think of to another poet's words. So there's definitely an intentional paradox in the whole thing. The work of Frank Bidart especially speaks to me, in part because it's so vulnerable. And the narrative that he ties that all into, it's very visceral. And I think that's also very fitting for an installation like this that is a ephemeral and visceral experience for the audience. Yeah, so I'm currently, this isn't being filmed, is it?
Hey everybody, how you doing this morning? My name is Nicey Jones. I'm here for Poetry Today. I get your ink and I get your paper. It's Poetry Today and there ain't nothing greater. Leave it on my doorstep. Boom. Put it in my palm, yeah. It's oh, 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 Miami, baby. Poetry Fest, happening all month long. Doom, 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 doom 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 doom. And Old Miami's just bringing people together through poetry like they usually do. This is Nicey Jones, your favorite newsie, signing off.
Coming up on Art Loft.
We're an ensemble theater company, meaning that the company is run by its members. We create new work, we tour that new work, we encounter young people coming into the field.
Environmental sculptor Roy Stabb is internationally known for his site-specific installations. This Wisconsin-based artist's work is designed to go up and then decay into its surroundings. Take a look with Milwaukee PBS.
Sculpture for me is big drawings. The magic of making this work for 33 years is that moment it comes together, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of and excited that it happens.
The Villa Terrace Decorative Arts Museum will be celebrating 50 years as a public institution next year in 2017. It was the original home of Lloyd and Agnes Smith of the A.O. Smith Corporation. Agnes Smith donated the mansion to the community in 1967, and we've been enjoying it ever since. We're a community arts-based organization that features local, regional, and Wisconsin-based artists with 3 changing exhibitions every year. This is the Renaissance Garden, and it came into being in 2001, and it's a classical garden, so that we're working with symmetry, and it has some classical sculptures and features to it. So we do a variety of things here, and what's great about Roy Stabb's exhibition is that it's the first time that we've done a site-specific sculptural installation in the garden. He is a locally based, site-specific environmental artist, and he does work all around the world, and he's just a local treasure.
I call my work environmental because I use the materials from the environment. And also, the site is close to the materials. The reeds are weeds, nobody cares about them, but they're growing right where I'm working. Now here I'm not using reeds, but I'm using willow. And willow grows by the lake and in an abundance, so I can pick it and it'll grow easily again. Every year I try to look for a form I could use as I progressed or changed. And then somebody told me about ovals. And a rounded form is better in nature than a square line when it's real long. So I'm using ovals, squares, rectangles, triangles, and it's in line. My vocabulary is line.
When Roy works, he really kind of meditates on the space that the piece is going to be constructed in. And so here at the Villa Terrace, being a formal classical garden, he's really looking at the symmetry and playing off of that as well.
We called it shadow dance. Why shadow dance? Because it's on this beautiful grass. It's going to be linear, and there's a shadow below it. This is a formal garden. There's a channel going down the middle and a crisscross, and that's the axis like most formal gardens have. My vocabulary is ovals and circles, and that's what I'm using in this piece. And they're overlapping, and it's all about space. Sculpture is space. So this piece is made specifically for this site. That's the size I can get, and I went maximum. Process of making the work is you have to collect the materials. Then you have to lay out the work. Then you have to put it together. It all takes time. I used willow, and this is a wild willow. It grows in nature in clumps by the water, and we spent 5 hours picking this material. So it will be willow, and the horizontal, I want it to be very clear. Grass is green, and I'm going to use reeds again. When they're bundled, they're strong. So I will use those reeds as the horizontal work, a graphic work, to be seen from above and to be sensed in the environment where you are down here. So we have a circle, we have an oval going through the circle, and as the formal garden has oval, 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 oval. and this will make the piece. You put them in, it's like a very simple thing, and then I weave the line, I'll attach the line. It'll be woven and bundled, and I'll attach it to these supports. It's all about balance and engineering of the work. That's what an artist has to do. Design and engineering it and making it happen. We work when we have to work. Process, you never know how long it's going to take. Exactly. You just work until you're done. It's not a 9-to-5 job. You work until it's dark, come back the next day, work again and again until it's completed. When the piece is done, I want it to be seen from on top. And I want you to see a magical form of line. A line that is this formal garden in my vocabulary.
Look at it from the terrace, you can kind of get the visual. It's like kind of looking at a labyrinth from above where you can see all the twists and turns, and then when you come down and get into it, you have a completely different perspective. We're hoping that they interact with the sculpture. It's definitely something that's meant to be walked in and around and interacting with. The site-specific sculpture is only one part of the exhibition. We are also having a retrospective of photographs from Roy's work from around the world. And that's kind of the interesting thing with environmental site-specific art, is that it's meant to be temporary. It's made from nature, within nature, and it's meant to decay into atrophy. And so really how that lives on is that photographs and videos are taken. And then the third part is a collection of baskets from John Shannon and Jan Sayre that Roy curated. So he went and picked a number of these baskets that are made with some of the same materials that he works with. And we're going to have these exquisite baskets on display as well.
When people come to my sculpture, I hope they find a kind of quietness and a peace. Peace in what nature is supposed to give you. So I hope they take away a peacefulness and an intellectual play of my geometry. Art has to be art. It's not about money, it's about beauty and what you can give to other people, because art is sharing.
Next week on Art Loft.
Alas, I am one patient man. Right.
Theater company City recently teamed up with renowned visual artist Ann Hamilton to create Theater is a Blank Page. This experimental performance shines the spotlight on everyone from the show set designers to the audience members. WOSU in Columbus gives us a closer look.
City Company has been around for 23 years. We're an ensemble theater company, meaning that the company is run by its members. We create new work, we tour that new work, we encounter young people coming into the field, we are interested in where the theater's going and find training structures that can actually support that growth of the theater, and we invite young people into the process whenever we can.
I'm a visual artist that has worked in response to architectural space and social context. I've been interested for a long time within the work, not so much in the object or the experience of the object, but the relationship between things
James
and
Ramsey
lifetime.
sitting on the floor, cutting out pictures from the illustrated catalogue of the Army and Navy stores, endowed the picture of a refrigerator, as his mother spoke, with heavenly bliss. It was fringed with joy. The wheelbarrow, the lawnmower, the sound of poplar trees, leaves whitening before rain.
I think that Anne and I got together after some show, and she would always come see our shows, and it was a thrill for both of us, and we started plotting a long time ago. It was always something like, oh, we should do something together, or let's do something together, but it was really Chuck Helm who made it possible for this
Charles
suspicion to
Tansley
become
felt
a
an
reality.
extraordinary pride, for he was walking with a beautiful woman. He had hold of her bag.
It's a very collaborative process, and it's conversational at every level with everyone on the design team, with the actors, with everyone training. From the beginning, we've just been really elbow to elbow trying to find the form for this through our questions and through our hunches and through our mutual but often different responses to what this circumstance is.
How did he know, she asked. The wind often changed. The extraordinary irrationality of her remark, the folly of women's minds, enraged him. He had ridden through the valley of death, been shattered and shivered, and now she flew in the face of facts, made his children hope what was utterly out of the question, in effect, told lies.
He would never reach R.
He was saved. He was restored to his privacy. He stopped to light his pipe, looked once at his wife and son in the window.
It's an almost impossible project, not only for the actors who are not playing traditional characters, for the technical crew who's actually performing in the play, it's also a challenge for the audience. There's a call to adventure. Will they accept the call? And the acceptance is about allowing spaciousness into your life. So the process has been one of faith, the faith that will all come together, and that when the audience arrives, the magic will happen.
Beauty in the tributes that reached him from Swansea, Cardiff, Exeter, Southampton, Kidderminster, Oxford, Cambridge. Why so brave a man in thought should be so timid in life? What she called being in love flooded them. They became part of that unreal but penetrating and exciting universe, which is the world seen through the eyes of love. Birds sang through them. And what was even more exciting, she felt too, as she saw Mr. Ramsay bearing down, retreating, and gazing at Mrs. Ramsay, was a rapture equivalent Lily felt to the loves of dozens of young men in the absent-minded manner, subduing all her impressions as a woman to something much more general, becoming once more under the power of that vision which he had seen clearly once and must now grope for among hedges and houses and mothers and children. Her picture. It was a question, she remembered, vacancy in the foreground by an object, James perhaps sewed. But the danger was that by doing that, the unity of the whole might be broken.
We've made a book that you sign out with a library card when you arrive, and that is a copy of To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. And so you can actually follow along, and you have the weight of this thing in your hand, and it's printed on newsprint, and it has the quality a little bit of a book and a score, and it has a pencil so that you can mark it. And that there's something, it's like we're really thinking about like what is in your hand and what is in your lap. So something that's really intimate, and also that's something that's far away. And that structures the piece, this near-far relationship, which is also always the condition of reading and of theater.
Whereupon the spell was broken. Did Nancy go with them? Certainly Nancy had gone with them, since Minter Doyle had asked it with her dumb look, holding out her hand as Nancy made off after lunch to her attic to escape the horror of family life. She supposed she must go then. She did not want to. She did not want to be drawn into it all. As they walked along the road to the cliff, Minter kept on taking her hand. Then she would let it go. Then she would take it again. What was it?
Thanks for joining us on Art Loft. You can always connect with us on social media at ArtLoftSFL and watch us anytime on the PBS app by selecting WPBT2 as your local station. For Art Loft, I'm P. Scott Cunningham. See you next time.
Funding for Art Loft was made possible by Friends of Art and
In the Florida Keys and Key West, every night is a spectacular show. And every day is another masterpiece.